A very good evening to our viewers. Thank you for joining us tonight on the evening review. My name is Toivo Njabela. Tonight on the platform we are hosting Khumalo Simwanza. He is a Swapo Party member, a young Swapo Party member, of course, and by virtue of that, of course, also a member of the Swapo Party Youth League. And he is here to help us understand how the young people, especially in the ruling party, perceive the party ahead of the November 27 election. Thank you very much, Mr. Simwanza, for making time. You are a Swapo member. Is it something, you are actually very young, 22 years old?
Yes, 22.
Yeah. What attracted you to a very, very old party?
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Toivo, for this opportunity. I really appreciate, or let me say, the youth. We appreciate the fact that you invite a lot of young individuals here. You invite a lot of quite young leaders here, and it serves as a platform to teach the young kids how to lead, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you so much, Toivo. And what attracted me to the Swapo Party is the fact that I myself, I believe in the philosophies of Pan-Africanism, Marxist-Leninism, but with a Pan-African view of how to do stuff, And in that nature, of course, I'm to be drawn to a political party that is the same political aspirations as me, the same ideologies as me, which is Swapo. Swapo is a socialist. First of all, is a socialist ideology. The ideology of Swapo is orientated in that view of socialism, So firstly, that's what attracted me to Swapo.
Yeah. Yes. I forgot to mention to the viewers that you are also a student, a political science student?
Yeah, I'll go to UNAM,
Yeah, okay, absolutely. And that was why, part of the reason also why we felt that you're not just, we just didn't pick you from the streets, you're also a student of politics.
Of course. Yeah. I'm a student of the University of Namibia, We studied political science, we're still, Yeah, about to graduate in a few years, but yeah.
Yeah. Will you get a job in the Swapo under the Swapo government leadership? I'm asking because fellow graduates right now are struggling. So what are your hopes for the future?
The hopes for the future? Will I get a job in the Swapo-led government?
Yeah, not in the government itself, just in a country led by Swapo.
Would I get the job in the country run by Swapo?
Yes.
First of all, I have a question. My question is: do you ask me, Khumalo, as a political science student, or you are asking with regards of everybody, all the youth in the country?
No. I'm asking. Of course, it's a rhetorical question, but it's a question directed at you as a young person to say, what are your hopes for the future in a country that is having massive youth unemployment under the very party that you are a member of?
Oh no, that is very clear. That is it's been made clear. In our party's manifesto for the 27th, on the elections on the 27th, the incoming president, Ms. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, she had made it very clear. She has made it very clear that she's going to allocate a budget to make sure that the young people get jobs. Young people actually have a standard chance to get employed up and be swallowed up by by the economy. And on the other hand, jobs, they look, it looks very promising. Under the Swapo-led government, it looks very, very promising. As you know, we have the green hydrogen scheme. That scheme, just a few days ago, we were at a rally here in Windhoek West here, and James Newpay, they were there, and they made it very clear to the youth that the green hydrogen scheme is going to create about 20,000 20,000 jobs. You know, that's a lot of jobs, and that's just like what's currently happening right now. Not something that's like in the future, but it's tangible things. You know, like currently as we speak, about 20,000 jobs have to be created, and that's under the Swapo-led government. And then after, yet again, the Namibian people give us now that responsibility to drive them into the future. We are going to the Swapo-led government is made it clear to the youth that they're going to create a lot of jobs in other industries, and not just in the energy industry.
Yeah, you know that if you look at the manifestos of Swapo of the past, they're just speaking the same language. It's not like, as a matter of fact, many observers who have looked at the manifesto of the party and did some comparative analysis, they are saying that the current manifesto is not a radical departure from those of the past, maybe the 2019 one, for example. But now we are told, for example, that the Namibia Statistics Agency is sitting on a very explosive figure of unemployment right now, which they are suppressing because it might have devastating effects on the election results. These are not very encouraging signs.
First of all, Tovo, you must understand that the direction of the party has changed. The direction into which the party is going is a completely different one.
In what sense? Because the leaders of the party they've been at the helm of this party for a long time. It's not like these are people that came from nowhere now. They took over the party and now they are running with new ideas. These are the candidate of the party, for example, which is the vice president of the party since 2017. So what is new here?
No. Toivo, you must understand that even though we have old veterans, or let's say old party, leaders still in leadership roles, you must understand that Ms. Netumbo Ndani Deitwa, when she came, she came with a new outlook, as to say that like we are going to encourage a lot of young leaders, a lot of young people in spaces of leadership, and also to say that like we are going to bring back young radical minds, from other political parties and bring them home. And these are minds that can actually contribute to the party. And for a really long time, at Swapo we have actually seen that like people are actually now, open up to like give radical ideas, and to say that like the other day, just a few days ago, in Ephraim Nekongo at the engagement on the manifesto, he plainly said that like come after the elections, if they were to be seen to be an incompetent civil servant, they are going to be addressed and they are going to be dealt with in the right procedures, Yes, so the direction of the party has drastically changed, and on top of that, you must understand that like it's in the nature of things, in the nature of things of in the socialist point of view, you must understand that like we have a notion that says, we have a rhetoric that says the struggle continues, but the real question comes in, and we say that like the struggle continues against what, and the struggle continues, and then when you bring up that question, the next thing will be that like now who takes up the struggle? Will it be action or violence against who? Would it be and who benefits from all this? And we say that like now as young people, Swapo young people, or like just the country at large, inviting now everybody at large to say that like we're going to go out there and we're going to make sure that like we actively take part in the politics of the country, we actively take part in the decision making of the country, so that we drive the country and its economy in the right direction, in the direction that we love to be, to see it in the future.
Yeah, you see, you keep talking about socialism, which is of course on paper is the ideology of Swapo. Socialism by its very nature implies that we share in our resources equally as a society. doesn't have to be equally in numerical terms, but that we are really, we have a basket of whatever is inside belonging to all of us. Yet, our income inequality is actually just the social inequality in Namibia is one of the highest in the world. For the longest of time, we were second in the entire world, just behind South Africa. That is not a country that subscribes to a party. That's not a country led by a party that subscribes to socialism. Because the problem that I have with ideologies is that we like, making, socialism, like Swapo says, socialism with Namibian characteristics, whatever that means. Because on the ground, we just see a few well-connected people enjoying the fruits of the country, and zero. Today, on the front page of Namibian Sun, for example, we had a story of people who had been living at a dump site in Tsumeb since 2009, 16 years ago. That's crazy. What is socialist about that?
That is, first of all, to hear that some people have been living in a dump site ever since 2009, that's quite frankly very sad. But you must also understand that Namibia is a socialist country, and as you've mentioned, it's a socialist country. It's a socialist country with Namibian characteristics.
No.
And do you know what that means?
No, it's not a socialist country.
But you must understand that it does reflect.
But please explain.
It does reflect on the ground. To say that socialism does not reflect on the ground of Namibia's economy is, I would say it's non-fiction. It's not true, because you know that we have welfare, a lot of welfare policies, in Namibia, and to say that we also, even though now as the youth, we say that we want to, we are now it's time for youth to lead. To say that no, we are going to make sure that we actively take part in decision making. And do you know what that means? That means that all the policies that were passed back in the day by that were socialist in nature, but did not bear any fruits. We are going to say that you know what, as a youth league now, we'll probably caucus amongst ourselves and say that you know what, let's revisit all these policies. Let's revisit the land reform. To say that no, since willing buyer, willing seller is taking a very long time to show fruits or to be fruitful, and then we say that no, let's find other means. That's the government of Menetumbo. It promises that line of thought and that sense of direction. So to say that Namibia is not or the Swapo-led government is not actually is actually not socialist, is non-fiction. And also we must understand that Marx did bring up contradictions, material dialism. He did bring them up, as to say that ideally things of the mind, I mean ideas, they come secondly to things that are to material stuff. As to say that what's on the ground, what's happening right now, when you say that we have a couple of well-connected people, that is just contradictions, and Karl Marx mentions them. They are a product of socialism, and how we should move forward is just to say that you know what, contradictions are now starting to show themselves. We're starting now to have maybe let's to say a petite bourgeoisie, and then we say that how do we handle or dismantle this class of the petite bourgeoisie? I don't even want to call them a class, because they are not really a class. They're just a group of we call them a group of individuals that have that are running or that are going about with the interest of foreign nationals and foreign companies.
Yeah. So let me put something to you, Mr. Simwanza. The truth of the matter is that because of this inequality that we have in our country, the impact of that is not only what we see on the ground every day, people begging at the traffic lights and selling, children begging there and crying as you pass by. That is just one picture. The other picture is that inequality is so severe that the wealth of these very few people, black elites and white people who have been advantaged all along. So you take that tiny group, and then their combined wealth is then mathematically calculated as the wealth of Namibia, and mathematically applied even to those children that live at the traffic lights, because that is the formula that is used to determine per capita income of a people. So we are now classified as upper middle income country in the world, and as a result, there are many organizations that no longer render their very necessary services to Namibia because we are perceived to be well off. These are the real dangers of what is happening in our country. There's nothing socialist about a situation like that, because it's in socialism, like in China, that has eliminated absolute poverty by nearly 90%. That is socialism at work. It's our country, it's our resources. Let's all share in that. Here it's not happening like that.
I'm very happy. I'm astonished, so happy that you brought up the issue of China. And also, before I visit that, because I want to tackle that, and I want you to understand the issues or the differences between us and China. And also, but first, let's talk about the issue of indirectly. You are saying we don't get aid because, of course, of the inequality. But to say that, but a begging mentality is one of the worst forms of attributes a nation can have.
But that is what you see, Mr. Simwanza. This is what people say when we say that Namibia shouldn't be classified as a upper middle income country. Then they are saying apparently we are begging to be poor. We are poor. We are poor. We are not begging for it. We are telling the world that actually, contrary to this glossy picture that is being painted about our country, there are people living under bridges, there are people living on the streets, there are people who go to bed without anything. How are we begging to be poor? We are poor.
You must understand that, like, even though the current situations on the ground right now, they do not reflect the best, we must understand that, like, the government has been trying, we have been trying, and currently as I told you, we have schemes, we have like for example the green hydrogen schemes, and a lot more to come in the future. And also for the first time in the country's history now, we have realized that, like, you know what, let's go back to the creative industry, and let's pour money in this industry, and let's kick away with unemployment. And so another thing is that, like, now when it comes to the Chinese economy versus that of Namibia, you must understand that, like, ever since the great Chinese revolution, when the times of Mao Zedong, you must understand that, like, for a country to reach levels of success as China had, you must understand that, like, there are sacrifices to be made. And there were years that about millions of people have died to make China what it is. You know, like, I'm talking about millions in the tens. You know, these are a lot of people. That's how great that just with the government of China trying out new strategies, and the people standing by the political party to say that, like, you know what, we're going to stand by Mao Zedong. We're going to stand by the CPP. And I mean, it's Chinese Communist Party, and we're going to stand by the CCP, and until you know, it shows until it's fruitful, you know, that sort of thing.
So we must have faith in Swapo.
You must have faith in Swapo.
Something's cooking really to turn around the fortunes of the country.
Of course, of course.
Let's go for a short break.
All right.
And then we return with Khumalo Simwanza. Our conversation with Khumalo Simwanza continues on the evening review. He is, of course, a Swapo, young Swapo member, part of the Youth League of the party, also a student of politics at the University of Namibia at the moment. And we are discussing with him what attracts him to Swapo in order to understand the bigger picture, why that loyalty seemed to still be intact in the ruling party. What I do not see amid all these campaigns is a message of renewal, because the country undoubtedly has a lot of challenges right now. And I thought after what happened in 2019 when Swapo lost its two-thirds majority and the president just getting 6% above the 50% mark, I thought that was a lesson that Swapo would say, oh, people are not happy. We now have to do radical things so that in 2024 we will have improved our record. I do not see any improvement. I see that many problems actually have worsened. That is my analysis. But it happens. I thought the party would be preaching something of renewal nature to say, yes, we admit there's been challenges. Yes, we admit we would have done better. But this is our commitment now. But what we see is this defensive attitude. Yeah, we've been there, we did this, we are doing good. As if to say the party is proud of what has happened in the past 5 years, for argument's sake. Why is it difficult to admit mistakes? Do you think that when you're honest, more honest and more open to the people and say, yes, we acknowledge, because then I am confident that you're actually aware of your shortcomings, because if you don't seem to be aware of your shortcomings, then I get the impression that you're not going to address them because you're not aware of them.
No, you must understand one thing, Toivo. You must understand that, like, as I've been mentioning, that the direction of the party has changed.
Yeah.
As to say that, no, we have to say that, like, we have not realized that the people were not happy with in the last elections. It's not actually not true. But we are saying that, like,
you are hiding unemployment statistics from the people. That is dishonest.
Hey, man. So, like, what I'm saying is that what I'm saying, Toivo, is that the direction is changing. The direction has changed. We are not just going to the current leadership or the incoming leadership is that is going to be full of a lot of young people. Is to say that, like, we ran with the adults, now it's fine, you know. The party has been deploying a lot of young people on the ground to just make sure that they take part in decision making. A lot of cadres from the Swapo Youth League and, you know, are now being deployed on the ground. And so that means that, like, it's a new mentality, and we're going to start off fresh under the leadership of Mama Netumbo Ndaitwa, you know. Under her great leadership, and to say that, and try to I love and to try to say that, like, the Honorable Hage's tenure as president will be that of the same of Mama Netumbo. I think one cannot really make that. We cannot compare these two characters, you know, because this is a female president. First of all, she's female. She has her approach is different, you know. She allows engagement. She allows you know, radicalism. So to say that, like, she's the same as the late very loved Hage Geingob is it does not make sense. You cannot make that comparison, because these are two individuals with different leadership skills.
Yeah, I hear you. So on the 27th of November, because the young people in our country actually make up also the majority of the registered voters. A typical Namibian youth going to the polls when they enter into that booth on the 27th of November, they will vote for Swapo on what basis? Is it to say thank you for bringing independence in 1990?
No.
Is it to say thank you for the high rates of poverty? You are voting for Swapo on what basis? Maybe give me a sense of that.
No, you must understand that, like, although the mighty Swapo has brought independence to Namibia, to our country, Namibia, you must also understand that the young people are not going to vote for us because of that rhetoric. Although the young people they do appreciate the fact that like a lot of individuals, a lot of freedom fighters, a lot of young people liberated this country. They went into exile and they brought about the independence that we so much cherish right now. You must understand that like we are not going to go into the young people are not going to go to the ballot so that they vote Swapo on the basis of that, but we're going to vote Swapo on the basis of competency, on the basis of saying that like no, Swapo is giving, you know, the leadership structure, the leaders of the incoming Swapo structure are very different, and that's what's going to lead the people to vote for Swapo on the 27th of November. On top of that, it's not just not just the leadership, but also to say that the promises that the political party has been promising for the past couple of months, you know, to say that like the party has made a great introspection. They have made a huge amount of also inspection of the economy and the situation on the ground. And our manifesto is a direct reflection of that situation, and that's what's going to lead the young Namibian kid to go like, no, I'm going to vote for Swapo because there's no other eligible political party to run this country just as much as Swapo can, because the other political parties, first of all, they lack credibility. Second of all, some of them we all know these political parties. They are imperialist political parties. These are parties that actually have like foreign agendas, and some of them they're just way too chaotic. They do not have they don't have the majority to run a country they don't showcase those skills. They don't have leadership skills, because leadership not always is leadership making noise, or not always is leadership to make a fool out of oneself. But leadership is to understand the people's situation, and to go like, no, I will have a calling. If you don't like, either you choose by yourself that like I will have a calling, or you actually just because leaders are they're like, most of the time leaders are born, you know, from maybe when you are young, and then you realize that I actually have a calling for the people's you know, suffering and grievances. So that means that like
you've run out of time.
Oh,
but yeah, if you can just conclude the point.
All right,
quickly.
So the point is that young people are going to vote Swapo because of the credibility that we have, the amount of the respectable way of doing business we have at Swapo. That's why young people are going to vote for Swapo, because we're going to vote for stability. We're going to vote economic stability. We're going to vote for economic growth, and we are going to vote for more inclusion, youth inclusion, and women inclusion, gender equality, basically,
I hear you.
and development.
Mr. Simwanza, thank you for coming to the platform and
thank you so much
to defend the ideals of your party. It's very, very important that we see young people able to articulate. I'm pushing you on purpose, not because I'm necessarily against what you're saying, but it's my job to challenge you as a young person. But thank you for coming.
Of course. Thank you so much, Mr. Toivo.
Yeah.
And please continue making this platform a platform for young people to, you know, to get more, you know, to get into corporate spaces and,
yeah,
you know.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.
All right, sir.
That is Khumalo Simwanza, is a young member of the ruling party Swapo, and also a student, political science student at the University of Namibia, reflecting on why Swapo will still attract young people in his view. Thank you for watching.